Hello to all fans of quilting. Today I want to present to you a very beautiful block. It looks like this. I think nobody will stay indifferent when it comes to it. Today I'll show you how to sew such a block. As you can see, it consists of light and contrasting colors. But I'll show you how to sew such a block of different colors. Everything looks very cozy and beautiful. So let's get started. We need strips of colored fabric. Here are my strips of blue and white fabric. The width of the pieces I have is 2 inches. Let's cut off a 2 to 2 inch square from the white strip, then repeat it with the blue. Now let's sew them together. Done! Now we take a strip of blue fabric and we will sew it to this side in such a way. Now let's cut all the excess. We take a white strip, sew it here, then here. Well, as you've already understood, it will be a log cabin block with a displaced center. Now we take white strip. Done. And I'll cut all the excess. Now we need to sew a white strip here to this side to get like this. That's what we get. And now we need to sew the same blue strip to this side and to that side. Here and here, like this. So now when we attach the last color strip, you can see what block is obtained. To complete this block, we now need 2 squares of white and colored fabric. Let's lay them on each other with face sides and draw diagonals. We drew diagonals. Now we will lay line leaving 1/4 of inch from this diagonal. This is our over measure from this and that sides. We will also need 1/2 square of light fabric. Stitched along the diagonals, receding 1/4 of inch, and now we will cut our square into 8 parts. And now we cut each side in half. That's how you can get 8 square triangles or HST quickly and easily. This is a very simple method of making 8 such squares at once. Now we only need to iron and straighten them. We iron all the seams. Now we need to level these squares up to one size. Just in case, we make sure they are all the same. I have a 2 to 2 inches square and I level it. I combine the diagonal on a ruler with the diagonal on a flap. We cut off the excess. So we have all the squares ready, and now we will lay out our block. There we will put a square of such color, and we will lay out such square strips by the sides too. Let's start laying out the block. This is how we lay out the strips and sew our squares in pairs. To get such diagonals, white and colored. That's it. That's stitching them in pairs. And we should also attach some background square to one of the sides. Look what we got when we sewed those strips. Now we should just sew them to our square. Please mind that for our larger flower we will need to sew 4 such blocks. Moreover, these 4 blocks should differ in designs, 2 options and required. There is another block we will need like this. The only difference is that we will start from the dark square to sew a log cabin, then comes a white strip, then the colored and white. And here we started with a white square. To complete for this strip here, we need a colored square, not a white background square like before. This is the only difference. So you need to sew 2 such blocks that start with a colored square and 2 such blocks. And now let's see what we get. So all sides and squares are connected. If you want to sew this block but of larger size, you will sew a log cabin and start thinking how to sew these squares. What size of squares should you take to cut it into 8 parts and get 8 such squares? To make the 8 HST easy, you should try such a formula. Here Y is just the size of the desired square, and X is the desired size of a HST square, or the finished product. So once again, in the finished product, when it is sewn, the square will be in product. I mean, if we have the size of this square equal to 2 inches, then in the finished product it is not 2 inches. The final size is different because we leave about half an inch as all the measure. The formula is given for those who sew in inches. Here is a little hint for you. Instead of X, you can put the size of this square that you got when you sewed a log cabin. Here is the square. Because it is equal to all squares, you should measure its dimensions and substitute here instead of X. Now lay out all 4 blocks and look at our flower. We will spread it like this. To make the light and the dark parts lay in front of each other. Look what a beautiful flower we get. It remains only to sew them in pairs and connect all the parts together. You can sew them from different flaps, but you can also sew from the light and the contrasting colors, which is also very beautiful. Look here. I hope you liked it. Write in the comments if something was unclear to you. I will answer to all of your questions with pleasure. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, ring the bell to receive notifications about new workshops. Now I say goodbye to you. See you soon.